Hello.
Like roids, for instance, you get a lot of water retention in your face, and it starts making you look a little bit like a hamster. Yeah, bit of live on TikTok. Come on, James, give us a flex, bruv. Good lad. We know you love it. Here at Ryefield today, folks. Here at Ryefield. Bit of James. Everyone loves James. You want to come down and see James? Are you signing autographs today, James? Bruv, you doing autographs if anyone comes down? Ladies are asking, mate. They're asking. James does autographs, everyone. Here we are, live on TikTok at the Battle of All Saints here, right outside All Saints Church, folks. We've got the boys. The boys about town. Yeah. On it. And look who's here, folks. Look who's here. Are you live now, mate? You've got an audience, James. Do you want to do some posing? That's what you take it all for, isn't it? Like to do some posing and look neat and that. Let's go. Come on, son. Jamesy, gives a flex. Yeah, James is here. Little James. That's what they're saying with Traffotech today. This is the first time we've seen Traffotech in a BP73 HBY here, folks. So, yeah, this is what we're looking at today. Everyone loves James here at the Ryefield wall today. We've got the dog. Look how the dog's turned his back on him. The dog's showing James his back. He's that interested. Yeah. Let's go, James. Ryefield live and direct. Yeah. Everyone's loving it, James. They're all saying you're hard, mate. They said you're hard, James. Do you want to give us a flex, James? James, you drop your carpet, mate. Drop your carpet, bruv. Oh, he loves it. The uncomfortable silence. He remains professional, folks. Anything he does say will be used against him. So the best thing he can do is keep quiet and look pretty. That's what he takes it all for, isn't it? That's what these boys are good for. Oh, look, he's going over the other side of the road here, folks. He's walking away. I'm just going to stay here. We can watch him from over here and give a good live commentary. He's meant to be close protecting, but yeah, he's not close protecting anymore. He's over there going to them, look, boys, we've gone live now. We better get out of here. Everyone's going to know exactly where James is standing in Hillingdon. So, yeah, we love a bit of James round here, don't we? Yeah. Right outside All Saints for you here, folks. Yeah, I had to come live with him. Some nice citizens already told us that James was here, so I just got the dog and I walked out. Look, the dog's loving it. Look at the show, mate. Look, the dog's got front row seats for the James show here, folks. The dog's got front row seats. He's loving it. You all right, mate? How we doing? Lock me up where? What? Fascist book jail, mate. Yeah, I've not been allowed online for a few days, mate. Yeah, I think it was over some James memes. They didn't like it. All the security started mass reporting us, bruv. Yeah. There's a few like little James and Vitaly lover memes that didn't go down so well, mate. So yeah. It's all smiles. Have you seen any members of the public been walking past like tooting for the tight trousers and stuff? Yeah. Clap for tight trousers, people. Yeah. Clapping here. Give James a bit of love in the likes. How many likes we're going to get for James here in the thing? Show James a bit of support here. James on a poverty line. $3.50 a day, innit, bruv? $3.50 a day you get for doing this, or is it $3.60 a day? Oh, a little scratch of the nose for a little TikTok dance later on. Your nose is a bit itchy today, isn't it, James? What about your cheeks? People are saying that, like when you get like chubby cheeks, like if you take roids, for instance, you get a lot of water retention in your face, and it starts making you look a little bit like a hamster. Would you not say? Do you know anyone like that? Like little hamster face people have taken too many roids and now their face is looking like twice as chubby as it did last year because they've got a lot of water retention these days. Does it affect you downstairs as well? You get big up there, small down there, don't you? I bet the missus is well pleased. Yeah, on it. Water retention 101, folks. This is how you do it. Yeah. Yeah, stormy weather, mate. It's bad, isn't it? But notice the media blackout. How many sets of these have you been to, geezer? And the amount of money's worth of damage, you would not think it would be a little article in the BBC or something saying this much damage has been caused. What's happening? It's against the will of the people here. I know you boys are just the traffic lights, aren't you? You ain't you, Liz. So, yeah, we're only just here to talk to James today. But, yeah, why not, mate? Yeah. James loves it, don't you, James? James is famous, mate. Millions of views across TikTok, X. Did you see on X, mate? You got like 6.5 million views, James. Did you see it, geezer? I bet you've been stalking me hard on there, ain't you, bruv? Yeah, it's one to tell the grandkids, all them memes. I bet you got a little, like my phone looks disgusting, mate. I've got about like 3 scrolls of just you, mate. That day, just after that day. But yeah, why not, eh? Here's James, everyone, at the lights. There, we get a nice zoom in on James there for you. James, you drop your carpet. He's dropped it. Oh look, he's lifted. Oh, he dropped the other one now. Oh dear. Look, he's got a little armband on, yeah, but there's no badge.
Welcome everyone, good evening, welcome. My name's John Lawrence and this is Party Talk, and we've got an awesome guest on tonight, a proper London rebel, and you just had 5 minutes of him talking. Matt, was that some security man?
It was you, the security. That was he was just security for the traffic light boys that day, fitting the.
Oh, thank you. Don't forget, everyone, please share the stream, like and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, make sure you follow our YouTube and all our links in the description. I'm just a few, about 40 off 4,000 subscribers, and I want to really push my YouTube this year. So please get on it, share, like and subscribe. I'm not streaming actually to my YouTube tonight, but we are streaming to Pat's. So if you're on, get onto that YouTube and like and subscribe to Pat's YouTube, which is NHP UK Press Office Official or Official Press Office.
NHP UK Press Office.
But you're all on YouTube. I can see the comments coming in, so you're all on Pat's channel. Please like and subscribe, and this is Party Talk. So as we know, Sadiq Khan has brought in new Les. I've been to London many a times. There's demos every weekend on about you, Les, and there has been for the past 2 or so years. And I'm sure our guest will tell you he'll be very up to date with that. But it's a massive issue, and it's not just an issue in London. They're trying to do this all over the country. We had the CAS tax coming in Manchester. And within 2 weeks, there was 100,000 people Facebook page made up against him. And all of a sudden, it's frozen. And when we look into this, they're making money for themselves. Andy Burnham's wife is linked to the company that makes the cameras. You couldn't make it up, guys. You couldn't make it up. And we'll get Pat to tell you how vehicles have had to be changed and stuff like that. And as local wannabe councillors, me and Pat have heard this at the door hundreds of times. People talking about they have to change the van, they have to do this, they have to do that. Up here in North Manchester, the cabbies are well against it, and they're one of the biggest forces up here against the CAS tax. But anyway, welcome to the show. We've got Pat on, we've got Paul, and I want to introduce first time Matt. How are you, Matt?
How we doing, mate? Yeah, not bad. Good evening.
Hello, Matt.
So we was talking a minute ago before we started the stream, and Matt, did you give an estimate on how many unpaid ULEZ fines there is?
Yeah, it was coming on close to £500 million worth of unpaid fines, they're saying. The top person for like a single person who's had this fine, it must have been in the original ULEZ zone before they expanded it to like the outer boroughs. So he's had 1,077 fines. So that's almost every day since the ULEZ scheme started anywhere. Yeah, and he owes £2.4 million, they're saying. So yeah, no car's really worth that, is it? So yeah.
And also, I mean, I did see an article about how much is made so far. I can't say how much it is, I forgot, and I haven't done my research to double check, but I did see it a couple of days ago, and I'm sure it was like in the hundreds of millions that they borrowed.
It's a flawed scheme. It's a flawed scheme because like they're charging for clean air, but they can't affect the wind. So, like, you pay for clean air here, and a mile down the road, it's not a clean air zone. You can run any vehicle, do whatever you like. The air's the same there as it is here. So, if you're running a dirtier motor down there and the wind comes, I've just paid for that clean air here. So, what now the wind's taken it? How can you charge me for that?
Yeah, and
it's okay to pollute if you pay.
Are they not going to start charging electric driver cars as well, aren't they?
Electric cars, like one of them, they're not like, what do they call it, environmentally friendly. The manufacturer of them, that's it. Like, that's just the manufacturer of the batteries that they need is that's it. The power that uses
far like that. It's just they say non-emissions, don't they? But
Yeah.
the emissions are just somewhere else, coming out of a massive dump truck in a big mine somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
In
The
Africa or
emissions
somewhere.
elsewhere. That's what.
And I know that a lot of the battery parts of these electric cars, it can be recycled, but it costs loads of money, and we haven't got that technology. So we're digging that poisonous stuff out at ground, and then when we finish with these batteries, they're going back in the ground, making it even more poisonous.
What happens when they set on fire though? I've seen a lot of electric vehicle fires. There's been like, and it's pushing other people's car insurance up as well, because when an electric vehicle gets in a crash and any part of that battery is damaged, that car's a write-off. That's a £40,000 car usually, written off in one swift little like nudge on the side, because that battery's damaged. That's it. That car's finished. It's an insurance write-off straight away, and it's pushing everyone else's insurance up.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a step backwards from a combustion engine.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think I was one of the first who had to change my vehicle because of the ULEZ, because I live in central London. I think it's been expanded twice after that. So they had it in central London, the test, they'd done the tester. Then it expanded like out to inner London. And then they went out to the, is it the North Circular, that far? Is that where Hillingdon is? By the
North Circular. We're the next step out. We're like right out on the edge of like Buckinghamshire here.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, so it went to the North Circular.
Bucks border.
Yeah, it went to North Circular. Then they done it again, going out to like the M25, I think.
Yeah, that's it. It works. Yeah, virtually out to the M25. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're completely right. At the end of the day, all the vehicles that Sadiq Khan was telling people they'll do a scrappage scheme. They sent all those vehicles to Ukraine, so it's all right to pollute Eastern Europe, but not the UK. Do you know what I mean? It's just
I saw one guy who got a ULEZ fine through, and his car was on the back of a transporter going from the scrapyard where he dropped it off. Right, just on a transporter, like in like one piece, it's going somewhere. He thought it was getting scrapped. He took it to a scrapyard, and then they sent him a ULEZ fine because it took a picture of it on the back of the lorry.
Yeah.
He showed me the picture. I saw that picture. Unbelievable. Yeah. So that car wasn't scrapped. It was taken somewhere else.
Yeah. I think personally, the wider picture, my theory is it's a very deep subject. And they basically, our economy is about to crash every 10 years because there's nothing there. It's just thin air. And they need to, like, it's the same sort of concept of just flooding the country with more and more people to keep so that more and more people get mortgages. And you got the pyramid scheme of the mortgages. And then the ULEZ thing was to get the West, the net zero scam going to make the West start producing lots of new cars to kickstart the economy again. And I think this ULEZ, this net zero thing is another that's one of their little scams, what they're doing. But obviously there is other aspects to these cameras. They added the ANPR system to it to keep an eye on us all as well. So it's just basically more and more cameras, and they're just pinning us down more and more. And especially the motorists. I mean, most motorists are working class, and they need their vehicles like myself. You know what I mean? And they're persecuting us. I mean, where I live, I stand in elections, and if you've been waiting for a flat for like 10 years, and then they come along and they say, oh, we can give you this flat, but you're not allowed to have a parking permit. So that excludes you from getting a job as a black cab driver, a minicab driver, a delivery driver for any industry which involves driving a vehicle that you need to take home. The Labour Party are basically they're anti-working class. They're just scum, and we need to get them out, guys. Over to you, Paul.
A net zero agenda, misery piled upon misery. It's just a form of control, isn't it? Let's just start with this idea of pollution. Britain, the British Isles, are some of the wettest places in the world. We have 2,500 millimeters of rain a year. Pollution's got no chance in this country. It just gets washed away. Everything gets washed away. There's a water cycle There's no issue with pollution in Britain. So what's the real issue? The real issue is they want to control us and they want to use us for tax revenue. Those who are productive, those who actually get out there and make a go of it and work and strive, they're the ones they hit because they're the only people they can get money from. And so we've got a two-tier justice system. We've got a two-tier society. Half the people are grafting hard and they're just paying tax upon tax. And as for the other half who aren't grafting, they're being expanded year on year by mass uncontrolled immigration of unskilled third world workers who just have nothing to do except they cycle, don't they? They deliver all these meals. It's absolutely idiotic. We're bringing in low caliber, low qualified people, and that's lowering everything in our society. And the only problem we have now is, we're being overwhelmed by numbers. I mean, the traffic on the road is incredible, but also the housing shortage is incredible. And also the wait for hospital services is incredible. And also the amount of unskilled people now has just ballooned in our economy. It's madness piled on madness. And what is the goal of the Labour Party? What is this really all about? It's about controlling the native population so they don't resist their demographic displacement. Mass immigration to destroy the British. And this is what it's all about. Now, people think, this environmental issue. There's no such thing as global warming. It's absolute nonsense on stilts. I mean, Matt there talked about the wind. The wind controls where the hot and cold air goes around the globe. There's nothing to do with carbon. Man, I've studied meteorology. I've got a qualification in meteorology. It's so much nonsense, but they know how to hype it up. But thankfully, there's a huge counterattack on the way now. And this is Trump. He's taken on the deep state in America. He's taken on the bureaucracies. He's wiping them out one after the other. He's only been in power for 14 days. It's been the most amazing 14 days of my political life, really, just watching how he's gone at the deep state, with the vengeance. And, of course, we've got Elon Musk, who's clever enough to unlock all these computers, and he's cutting off their salaries, cutting off their money. And in Britain, we're doing the exact opposite. We're increasing the number of bureaucrats. We're piling on the number of fines. We're piling on the number of taxes. It's got to give. And it's up to the British people now to rise up against this. Pat, you talked about politics. Don't vote for the Lib Lab con. You vote for the National Housing Party when we stand. If not, vote for another party. We've got to really rise as a people against this. And all these guys in London who are taking down these cameras and resisting it, they're heroes. Now Britain's looking for a hero. I mean, there was 100,000 people at that Tommy demo in London on Saturday. People are looking for a hero. They're looking for a leader. They're looking for someone to lead a rebellion, to stop this madness. And I tell you what, the frustration out there and the anxiety and the fact that Labour are planning to a 10% increase in council tax. They're going to further increase national insurance. They're going to start taxing the pensioners. I mean, they're just stripping us bare in order to raise money to give. I mean, you've just seen in America, they've closed down this US aid. Where was the money going? It was going to scams in Nigeria, climate change scams in Nigeria. It was going to LGBT plus projects in places like Serbia. It was all madness. It was being used for transgender promotion. It was absolutely abysmal. This is what the government does with your taxes.
It's come out of the Paris Climate Agreement, Annie, as well, Trump.
Go on, John. Go on.
He came out of the Paris Climate Agreement as well. One of the first things he did. And he's very dodgy on all these things. And like you said, they're looking into all this, where all this money's going now. And he's not happy. And when they look into, they're trying to block him on charity things and stuff like that. So we know that this is scamming it all. But anyway, joining us as well tonight is our own Stuart Boniface. How are you, Stuart?
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, not too bad, thank you. obviously I'd like to get up to speed, what you covered, what you haven't, basically.
You Les.
ULEZ cameras
Right.
in London, and I just wanted to ask Matt something quickly.
They're not cameras. It's a weapons system.
Right.
It's for
That was going to be my first question. What is the tech inside?
It's a 24 laser array on the front of them. They're scanning the cityscape with lasers, which is illegal. It's an environmental hazard as well. So that's it. We've been on to Natural England about this. We've been on to SSE Power for like basically putting the bullets in the gun, if you will, powering up a sort of a Jew weapon. That would be like providing the electric. That's putting the bullets in, isn't it? So yeah, they've been our arguments with TfL about who's been paying for the burnt out boxes. A lot of them are getting set on fire. The boxes that actually power them up. So instead of going with a tool and cutting them down, lads are just going and opening the box that powers it up and just setting it on fire, and that stops the electric. And then Southern Electric have been arguing with TfL because TfL are refusing to pay for the damage. They're saying it's Scottish Southern Electric's equipment and it's their job to like fix the burn, and then they're taking like 6 to 8 weeks to come and fix the power back on like sets of traffic lights when they've just opened the control box. So they don't even need to cut anything down. You don't need like big power tools to go out and stop this. That's what the lads have been doing. People have been realizing there's like different ways of doing things.
Are they still doing it, Matt? Like, are they still cutting them down, burning them? And what are the areas most resistant to it? And is there any areas what there's no resistant at all?
Well, there's plenty of areas, like the further you go in central, the less it seems to be any sort of resistance. But on the outskirts, where there's a lot of people like right on the border, that's where you're seeing the most resistance, because people like a lot of people don't travel into town. If you live on the border, you might travel out, and you're going past like one set of these and then you're out. So people are going out and they're taking action about that. Like they're realising no one's coming to help them. Everyone's looking for a saviour. Like there are people talking about Trump and that. Like, let me tell you, folks, Trump's not coming here to help you anytime soon. If you want help, you've got to get out there on the street and help yourself. If 100,000 people who went to that march, instead of like looking for a leader, actually went out and just took one, like even small bit of direct action, like it's over for them. Do you know what I mean? 100,000 pieces of control infrastructure disabled in a day. If everyone went out and did one, that would be a lot more productive than going uptown, wouldn't it? Yeah, but you're not allowed to organise that. You can't say that. Like, you could, if any, definitely don't do that though, because like, do you know what I mean? You get in big trouble if you do that.
Let me just weigh in. Listen, everybody, we're not telling you to do something that's like against the law. We're just talking about it and our opinions and stuff. Just want everyone to know that.
And that demo the other day, there was like barely 10,000 people there. It wasn't 100,000.
Yeah, so even 10,000 people like doing something is a good number.
Well, like I said, when the CAS tax was come out in Manchester, within 2 weeks, there was a Facebook group with 100,000 people in it. People started doing direct action, and Andy Burnham stopped. He put it on pause and cancelled it. So direct action does work. And I know there's been a lot of pressure on all the London authorities of the protests that have been going. Every time I went down to London, they were there filling the streets up and stuff like that. So, and that's good pressure against Sadiq Khan and the government and that. And more political people are talking about it as well now. And then we've got Labour. In the last general election, I think we had a Labour MP who was talking about it. Then he got told off and he had to be silent. But all this was over the news. So people are waking up to this sort of thing. We've had protests across the country over 15-minute cities. Of course, the ULEZ and all that and the CAS tax. So we need to keep up the pressure. People need to get out and do more direct action. I absolutely agree. My direct action, though, would be like through being a counsellor and speaking out about it. But, you know, I do support anybody who wants to go out and protest on these direct action things. And it's great seeing the ULEZ lot when they're all dressed up and then they've got banners in front of the cameras and stuff like that on the streets. That is really funny. And obviously they can't do anything unless like police come or something like that. But even then, they still can't do anything. And we get people camping outside overnight, blocking these cameras, which is awesome. And they're not causing any trouble to anyone. They're not blocking the normal traffic lights, they're just blocking them cameras.
So what do you mean by direct energy weapons? What damage can they do, Matt?
Like it can, like, it's got a load of capacitors in the back of it cooling. It's a lot more than an AMPR camera. It's got the function to like focus a laser beam,
right?
Basically. So yeah, that presents. They're not allowed to scan the city. They're not allowed to scan you with lasers. So they've got facial recognition. They're taking your data. These things can go down, like the sound recording, everything. It's like 5.6 kilos, and they've put them facing every direction on the top of every set of lights everywhere. It's geofencing for your C40 digital prism. Alex Jones has spoken a lot about this. If anyone's seen Alex Jones on the on X,
yeah. I mean, they're all over the place. In central London, they are literally on practically every major junction. They are there, and it's quite frightening, really, because
it's AI. So basically, what they want to do here, end game, is punish every single human error. So like they'll tell you there's more and more function on this. Now we're going to get you for this. Now we're going to get you for that. Now we've got and every 6 months, it's just like a dog with it, like one link of the chain being pulled in at a time. Over time, you don't realise how short that chain's got, do you? There's no freedom left anymore. You're just sitting there pinned in your little box. Like they don't build homes anymore. It's just flats everywhere. Like this, we can't build here, we can't do there. We've got to like grow seed oils in these fields. We couldn't do anything there. So we're going to build upwards in little boxes with no gardens, cooping people up like chickens. It's not.
Well, anyway, let me have my say. So I mean, when you said directed energy weapon, I've met Mark Steele a couple of times.
I know Mark, yeah.
And but the thing is, it was in lights and now it's in cameras. I'm just not on it. Now, what you said about identifying people and watching people, I get all that, and I think that's fair enough. But when I talk to some people, they think you can just be blasted by that camera and fall down and die in the street. It's just that I'm not going down that route. But the route you said about surveillance and looking and checking everyone out and laser things on your face to check who you are. Yeah, 100% agreement.
But I might argue that if you've taken a certain jab and you've got something in you, like Matt Hancock admitted there was a microchip in there, and if that would be audio recordable on the 5G on that network, if all those things happened, that would be bad, and you could be targeted and tracked on these, like every corner. Like literally, they can tell you from your stamp. You can be walking away from this thing, and it can tell by your walk who you are. One patch of skin, like they're literally that good. Like these things are high-powered, like battlefield weaponry. It's a weapon system. It's there to cause. It causes alarm and distress. Like knowing the capabilities that these things have got. Something's got to be done about it. How have they got away with putting this up on our streets? And why is it going up so fast everywhere? Where are they getting a budget from to just keep on ploughing away? Like the amount that's been cut down and destroyed, taken away. I've seen reports at £7,000 a unit. Surely, like what sort of they've armoured it all up. Like, yeah,
how many cameras have been taken down, Matt?
I don't know. They won't. If you put in a freedom of information is a good direct action thing you can do. If everyone started using that tool, that's a very powerful tool. Sticking in, like, find out, like, where does all the money go? That's what people need to start looking at here. Where is all the money going here? Like a million and a billion, right? So we hear a billion all the time, right? 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. So that's the difference in like the monetary terms. Like people, billionaires everywhere. Trump's a billionaire.
Well, we know that a lot of the money is going to like political. Andy Burnham's wife works for the company that makes the cameras for Kaztax, and that, as far as I'm concerned, that's a no. That should be allowed. But we know this
conflict of interest.
same with government, with the Conservative government, with what they did over the lockdowns and all that lot, and everyone making money. They don't give a shit about us. They just want to screw us over for every penny we've got. We should fight against it. But let's get back to Stuart. He didn't have much of a say then. So, Stuart.
Well, I've got 2 or 3 things to say in response to what you just said. All of our leaders across Europe, UK, Ireland, they're all WEF puppets. Most of them were on the Junior World Council of the WEF. Trudeau, Macron, Merkel, Rutte, von der Leyen, all of them are bought and paid for. This is a world, or at least to the Western world, Christendom, every country is under attack this way. The other thing, just what I think of it, is you can go on the government website and they will tell you who has already signed up to the 15-minute cities, which councils. So that's something worth checking out. You can start campaigning in your local area. I know that recently a lady who was having a lot of problems after a mast was installed, she managed to, in court, prove to the court how detrimental it was to her, and they had to remove the 5G tower. So this is another way in. If everyone says, I've got tinnitus, I've got extreme fatigue, I can't think straight, that thing down the road, it's ever since that come up. Get on it, do that. There is stuff online you can find which will give you a step-by-step guide.
Hypersensitivity, so EHS is something you can get diagnosed with. There's clinics out there, so if you look up a clinic that will give you an EHS diagnosis, so it's electrohypersensitivity, and like that's the symptoms: headaches, tingling in the hands and feet, tinnitus. It's like torture. Then you can get a medical certificate. You can get actually diagnosed from that. Your actual doctor, NHS doctor or nurse, won't do that for you. You have to go to a clinic to get an EHS diagnosis, but it can be done.
Yeah, I know from personal experience, because a friend of mine who's a few years older, ex-wife, who's in her 70s, she can't have anything wireless in her house, and she specifically bought a house in the country where there's very little around. Nobody can even bring a mobile phone into the house, even switched off, because within 2 minutes, she'll go, you got a phone in your pocket, get it out. Yeah. She knows. She can't even have a digital band radio, not even digital telly. She's that sensitive. So it is there. It is there to be used. And I wouldn't say, bend the rules a little bit. But if it's more and more people who are aware of what you can do locally to get your local one shifted, and then it snowballs. More people that do it, the more effective, quicker it will go. But we are really, really up against it. Just full-on globalism.
Yeah, a global agenda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just let me weigh in, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching the stream. We've got Matt Hardy on, Matt Hardy, _ BR, Blade Runner. And you've just heard then, we've talked about how much money and stuff like that. And we don't talk tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. Matt has mentioned millions, guys, millions. And our council, when we had the council tax, it meant that councils would be making money, and Oldham signed up to it because they know they'd make money off the local person or the man with a van or whatever. But yeah, please like and subscribe. We've got 500 odd people. If you're new to the channel, please go to the descriptions, like all of our descriptions, and watch out for Matt Hardy on Twitter, which is Matt Hardy _ capital BR for Blade Runner. But if you just type his name in on X, you'll see it, and please follow him and follow his videos. He's also on TikTok as well, so just type in Matt Hardy and you'll see his videos on TikTok. loads of entertaining videos. I've got to say, I've looked through quite a few the past week or so. Really entertaining. He's got a really good mouth on the street. Well, that poor dog of yours that dog is everywhere you go, that dog's with you.
The dog, I've got a different dog here today. She's sitting
Oh.
When did you see James last?
I haven't seen that boy since the summer. He's not allowed around here anymore. It's a dangerous area for him. So yeah, he hasn't been back for a long time.
Right.
Can I just say
to me?
Sorry, Matt. Yeah, can I just say something Matt said earlier that, you know, the cameras now, the policing our micro behaviour. Any little fault we make is an opportunity for them to like come down heavy, to fine us, to control us. Stalinist Russia was like this, but they used a vast network of secret police agents to monitor everybody's behaviour. And if anyone stepped out of line, they were off to the gulag. Now we've got cameras, we've got fines, we've got an ultra surveillance society. And it's the people in control are using it to fine us, to milk us of money all the time. So it's really scary. Now, you talked about acts of resistance, small scale acts of resistance. They can snowball and they can have a dramatic effect. Now, this all reminds me of COVID. COVID was the first dry run of the New World Order as a psyop to control us all. And it was very effective until the Canadian truckers got sick of it. And you just need one organisation, and that snowballed. They resisted, and they triggered the resistance. We have to resist. We've got to come together. I mean, when that Canadian trucker boycott began, it came out of the blue, caught them by surprise. But we've got to have an underlying spirit that we're not taking this. We're not going to be abused by the state. The state does not work in our interest. It's not a democratic state. They're not interested in our advancement, in our well-being. This is why COVID was such an illusion. I knew from the beginning. The state doesn't care about us. Why would they flood our societies with millions of undocumented third world military-age men? What's the reason for that? That's not to our advantage. These people don't care about us. This is an agenda for destruction. This is why Trump is so radical, because he is totally reversing it in America. He is reversing the agenda for destruction and putting a different agenda in its place. Ultimately, we're going to have to take control of the state, and that requires a political revolution. We need to get the Lib Lab Con out of power. We need new forces, a new ruling class in this country. But it's up to us as individuals like Matt, small scale, organised in parties like the National Housing Party, to come together and to form resistance groups, to build up that resistance in this nation, because otherwise they're just going to dictate to us till they destroy us. And that's what their agenda is, the destruction of the British people. And that's why we can't take this passively. We've got to rebel. This is just, I mean, you just see this as a traffic issue. It's not a traffic issue. It's not a pollution issue. It's about political control. And that's why the spirit of resistance is so important. Pat?
Yeah, as a few people have said, we are the National Housing Party, and the reason we put this party together was to stand in local elections. And I really do believe that we can make an impact on these road restrictions they're putting onto us, because I did a job the other day in Tower Hamlets, and a local councillor got elected there, and there was 3 LTNs. They were really bad. There was one in Old Bethnal Green Road, one in Columbia Road, and another one. And this councillor got elected, and he promised he was going to get them opened, these LTNs, lower traffic neighbourhood schemes. If people don't know what that is, they're basically closing all these shortcuts, what we've used for all our lives, and they've just decided to close them all. And anyway, it's gone to the higher court because the cyclists, they blocked it. He said he wanted to open, and the cyclists blocked it, and they raised £80,000 to block him in the higher court. And anyway, this independent councillor won, and they're going to open these 3 LTNs. So, you know, we can make changes through local elections is what I'm trying to say. And I'm most of my campaign is about these LTNs, because in the ward where I live in Holborn, Clerkenwell area, central London. and they've closed 36 roads around here. 36 roads they've closed or made a serious restriction on them, like made it a no entry at one end of it or something like that. And as I said before, this is where they did the first ULEZ tests. And you know, I've got to pay £500 a year just to drive in my local area because of the congestion charge. I shouldn't have to pay anything. So they say it's a 90% residence discount. So, you know, we're fighting back. Labour are on their last legs. They are literally like that. You know, Khan got voted in by a minority of people. And the majority of those people who voted for Khan were not Muslims, because I speak to them all the time and they hate his guts. It's all the white lefties who voted him in. And it's the same with all the local councils all across London. The minority of people have voted them in. And it's going to change. The next few years is going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be
18%.
Sorry?
It was 18% of Londoners voted for Khan in that election.
Yeah.
Out of 100%, it was 18% of like total people he got the vote from.
Yeah.
Similar for Labour in the general. It was only about 18-20%.
Yeah, so it's essentially it's a dictatorship, and that's what's happening. But people are waking up, and all we got to do is just mobilise. You know, this May coming, we've got someone standing in Rugby, we've got someone in Cornwall, and someone's just come forward. She's a former BNP organiser for Southampton, which is excellent. She's going to stand in Grimsby. And, you know, we're trying our best. You know, we're not sitting back and moaning about it. And I'm confident that we can change things from the bottom up, starting with local elections. Obviously, we're a small party and we're putting pressure on the parties above us, like Reform. We're trying to kind of pressurise them to harden up their policies because they are a little bit globalist, Reform, to say the least. And, you know, we need a Christian nationalist government. That's what we need.
Pat, let me interrupt. You just said something, and I want to bring in some good news, guys. There's articles now, and the government are looking into the 1951 Refugee Convention. I wonder why. I wonder why. It's not because of UKIP. It's not because of Reform. It's not because of anybody else. It's because of Pat McGuinness. Nobody else had that banner out. He brought that banner out. They started talking about it, all these parties, and now there's serious talk about changing things within the Refugee Convention, which shows you that people do pick up on stuff. But I want to go back to summer. We had our first meeting in London, and the train were late. So we had to get a black cab to where we were having the meeting. And I'm a bit naughty. I knew what was going to happen. As soon as I got in black cab and the cabbie heard my voice, I said where I'm from. I gave him one of our party leaflets and said, "What about you, Les?" And I've never heard such a 5-minute rant off any taxi driver in my life. And I understood him because I know Pat, and Pat's already told me about all the griefs, and so I could really get on with this driver. And even when we pulled up, where he was going to drop me off, we still talked for 5 minutes in cab before I got out. So, you know, it's killing them cab drivers. And it's not just the cab drivers in London. The cab drivers in Manchester rose up when the CAS tax come there because they would have been seriously affected. Cab drivers across the country have been prominent in a lot of the demonstrations and things against ULEZ and CAS tax. So, you know, keep it up, guys. But, you know, talk to people about it. Nobody likes it. There's we got contacted by a residents association down at Pat's End, and the woman there, she was absolutely livid about what they're doing to the roads and that. And then you just heard Pat, he knocks on doors, and nobody likes that CAS tax. You know what I mean? So the next couple of years are going to be big, but keep the pressure on everyone. Please, guys, 600 people watching. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe all our destinations and that. And there's a link there if you want to donate to our party. All our donations go into making leaflets and stuff like that for campaigns and all that. And at the bottom, there's 2 emails as well and my phone number if you want to contact us for anything.
Let me just say one other thing, John.
Go on.
Yeah, no. So about the ULEZ, so one of the things in my campaign is about Leather Lane Market. It's a very old market. A lot of people will have heard of it if you're from London. But the market has turned into basically a third world food market now. And there's no clothing stalls or nothing. And a big reason for this is because of the ULEZ. A lot of the market stall holders have got old vans and they just can't, you know, they've got to pay congestion charge, then they've got to pay the ULEZ. And it's just killed all the old traditional things. And but going back to you, John, you need credit as well for the UN Refugee Convention banner thing, because you went to the Conservative conference, we went up there with it. And I remember coming back on the train and there was all these Tory toffs on the train. And I was telling him about the UN Refugee Convention banner we had. And he went, oh, that's just a minor issue at Dover, he was saying to me. 3 days later, David Amos was murdered by someone who was a child of a refugee family who came in. And, you know, it's all over the papers all week that they're now, even the EU is saying they might be scrapping it. And if you signed up to that thing, you can't control your borders. As simple as that. And I think we all need a bit of credit for that, our party, because we went all round with that banner. We done the infamous epic banner drop at Blackwall Tunnel, which got into about 6 newspapers. Sadiq Khan even called us the R word, which was an honour. And that was very good. But yeah, over to you, Stu.
Well, I was just going to say, I have mentioned it lots and lots of times before. We need to come together, unify. It's the only way forward. It's the only way that things are going to change is from the bottom up. You say about reform, I think a lot of people were looking to Farage to suddenly become the hero again. We'll see. I don't think him and his politics are tough enough. We do need to get really tough if we're going to stand a chance of improving this country, its future. It's
So
got a bit of,
going back to the ULEZ cameras, are they going to continue using them, Matt, in London? Or is there going to be a time where they're going to say that they don't need them anymore?
I said to Susan Hall last year, I asked her directly, I was like, if you stop the ULEZ, will you take the equipment down? And the answer was no, it'll be for the police, it'll be for surveillance. She give the game away. It's on camera. She said that. I posted it today. It was a year memory. And it come up on my memories on TikTok, so I posted it everywhere. So that was only last week sometime, when it was a year ago since that day. So,
yeah, and let's have it right. The Tories brought in the congestion charge, and I'm pretty sure they set up the startings of the ULEZ. Is that correct?
It doesn't matter who done it. There's two cheeks of the same arse. The shit's all the same that comes out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say it's not just Labour; it's both of them. Is what?
Yeah, it's all of them.
Yeah,
it's every single one of them. We need to sack a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever put that stand in your local elections, Matt?
No, I haven't. No.
I wanted to raise an issue here, which is really
important here, guys. Someone.
I think it's off Paul. Better, unless you not
right.
better.
We getting
right? Stop now, hasn't it? And it started again now.
so.
I don't know what's up on Paul's side. Please like and subscribe, everyone. This is Party Talk, and we've got Matt Hardy, BR Blade Runner, on the show. And I just can't believe we started the show and we're talking millions of pounds. The amounts of money involved in all this and where it's going is just unbelievable. And it was the same in Manchester, and I don't doubt that ULEZ in London is 10 times bigger than that. So you heard it first on this show. You heard it. We didn't talk tens of thousands. We didn't talk hundreds of thousands. We talked millions. Millions, guys.
It's tens of billions. This is about the rape of our country. But the issue I wanted to raise was population. It's all about demography. Demography is deadly. When I was growing up, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, the population of Britain was quite stable, around 54, 55 million. Then when Tony Blair came into power, because he opened the immigration floodgate, it began to take off like a rocket. Now, we don't know how many people are in this country. They reckon there's maybe 2 or 3 million illegals. We're pushing 70 million. That means congestion. That means difficult traffic situations in our cities. But the population is set to hit 75 million. Labour are not controlling immigration. They're encouraging immigration. They're going to give all these illegals who are coming over the right to apply for citizenship. They're not going to send anyone back. They're not going to deport anybody. Labour's agenda is to replace the British people with third world immigrants. They are rank traitors. They are absolutely disgusting people who care nothing for our country's history, our country's welfare, or our country's future. But this population explosion is going to hit our cities. This is why they want control. They know the chaos that could ensue from that. Everyone's standard of living, standard of life is going to go through the floor. Because just imagine a situation where there's another 2 million people in London, another 2 million people in Manchester and Liverpool. The services are going to be overwhelmed. The roads are being overwhelmed. The schools are being overwhelmed. All the government wants is our money to fuel this. There's no vision there. People have got to ask, where are we going in the future? I was going to ask Matt that. Matt, what does the future hold?
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's what they've said. They want to take everything off you. So every single thing will be built as a service. You'll rent everything. You won't even own the clothes on your back. You'll rent the fucking lot. Everything bought as a service. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's what they've said. Klaus Schwab said that.
Yeah, you can check it out on their own websites. They talk about reducing the amount of meat that we eat, ideally to nothing after a few years.
That's not happening.
Yeah, 3 pieces of new clothing a year, because otherwise, and no access to water to wash your clothes, maybe once a week if you're lucky. It's all there. Go on the WEF, go on the UN. Everyone went, oh, conspiracy theory is a UN replacement agenda. Well, go on their website and they tell you exactly what they're doing. They have it. That's where Alex Jones, he may come a lot across as a bit loud and a bit mad sometimes, like a mad preacher. But that man he's autistic. He is hyper focused. He gets all of his information from documents and then puts it all together. And he was going on about this 10 years ago or more, word for word, almost.
I think Matt should think about, if he wants to go more and go forward with his direct action, run for councillor. That's what I think. You make more of an impact there, and they can't really shut you up or stop you doing what you're doing. But this is the party talk, guys. NHP UK party talk. We've got excellent guest on, Matt Hardy. You've heard us talking about all the issues around ULEZ and CAS tax and stuff like that. Our Stuart's come on and we talked about the 15-minute cities. You've heard Paul talk about the climate and stuff like that. And you've heard personal experiences of Pat McGinnis, who lives in the danger zone in London. But please follow all our descriptions and all that. We're coming at 7 minutes now to the hour and stuff like that. But please join the party. Give us some donations. Like I said, all our donations go on leaflets and stuff like that. We're active across the country. We've got some big things coming up. I'm in rugby in a couple of weeks for a weekend. We've got a lot of work to do there. We've got lads coming over from the Midlands and the surrounding areas to meet us as well. So I'll be meeting them for the first time. Pat's been on it since the beginning. Cornwall, all across London. There's a marker trail that goes all across London. And it's been made by Pat McGinnis. It's not been made by me, not been made by anyone else, been made by Pat McGinnis. So we're leading and we're pushing forward. And we want to run in local elections. We want people to know what we feel. I talk about all these issues at the door, every single one of them. Whereas your Labour or your Conservative councillor won't talk about half these issues. They'll walk away from the door when you start telling them about CAS tax or stuff like that, or globalism. They walk away. Not Big John. Big John talks to you at the door. And I've even had the talk about direct energy weapons at the door. And it's not that I don't believe it. All these things in the past was highlighted, but we never listened to anyone. We never listened to anyone about the mobile phones. We never listened to people about the microwaves. But now, all this stuff is coming back to bite us in the ass because no one did nothing back in them days. It's all a big conspiracy theory, they said. But now it's biting us back in the ass, and it is really coming in. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff they can do with all this technology. And like Paul and Matt, and we've all talked about, they can track you. Wherever you are in the country, they can track you. They can know how much you're spending. They can know when you turn your one light on in the house and they know everything. They know everything. But this is Party Talk, guys. And thank you very much. Please add all the descriptions. Go through our descriptions and join all our channels, please. We're live on Rumble as well as Facebook. We're live on YouTube as well. And we also do VK and Dlive. But last words, anyone?
Could I just say to everybody out there, don't be afraid to do your own research somewhere different than Google, because you'll get different answers to the very important questions. Just a little piece of advice. Google is not your friend.
Definitely not.
Max, to finish, what impact do you think the resistance has had so far? And how does you see it going over the next 3 to 5 years? Is it growing?
I think we're stopped in their tracks here pretty much. Like, they've had to spend a lot of money going and redoing work 10 times in places. Like, they've had the same one locked down 10 times. It disappears. They can't put another one up. But if they weren't doing that, these lads who were working for there would be out putting more up. So we've got a load of like the control boxes that they put in around the borough that have never had anything put on them. So I reckon they'd have been out just sticking up more if we hadn't resisted. Like the more resistance there is, the less they can do. They can't keep up with all of us.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah. So if anybody is on Twitter or TikTok, have a look out for Matt Hardy, Blade Runner. Share all of his stuff. He's got some great videos on there. Follow him. And just want to say hello to everyone watching on Twitter. 178 people watching on Twitter. And I'd just like to say, please come forward and contact us if you want to stand in local elections. We've had multiple people come forward just from doing videos like this. And, you know, I know there's people watching now and they're debating it in their head. Oh, shall I do it? Come and do it. It's nothing to be frightened of. We'll support you. We'll help you leaflet. We'll help you do whatever you've got to do. And we can make change. And in the next 3 years in this country, it's going to be massive change politically. It's happening in Europe already. All across Europe, the radicals are near enough in power. And it would have happened in this country if it wasn't for Brexit. Brexit's knocked us back about 5 years. And unfortunately, Reform have taken over the centre ground for the radicals. But there's still room, because I don't think Reform is going to really go that far, in my opinion. I hope they do defeat the Tories, get rid of them, and we get rid of Labour and the Liberal Democrats and the Greens, and then we'll have a big fight at the end. But yeah, thanks for watching. You know, join the party. £22 a year if you're waged. It's £11 if you're unwaged. Go to our website, nationalhousingparty.uk, to join. There's a join section there, and that's me. Thank you very much. Jesus Christ is King. Thank you.
Paul?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Reform, they cancel really radical people who are the resistance. They don't want to know them. Now, that's a big failing for Reform. They're leaving a lot of people behind, millions of people. We're going to mobilise the left behinds. We're going to mobilise the working class to save this country, because it's got to come from the grassroots. We can't put our faith in the establishment. We have to organise ourselves, form our battalions, like Matt is doing, make an impact, and we can change it. We don't need to rely on posh knobs. We can be the people, and we can change it. And look at what they're doing in the Maggot Army. We need an army in this country, make Britain great again. And I think the spirit is rising now to do that. Thank you.
What'd you say, Matt?
Be the change you want to see. Get out, get after it, folks.
That's it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Stuart?
I was just going to say good night, God bless, and take a little bit of action in your own hands by joining if it's not us, join another local party, start one of your own. If you want to come to us with ideas to add to what's on our website, get in touch with John or Pat. They're the two leaders, and they'll see what they can do for you. We're always ready to expand, all ready to take on all classes, all creeds, all colours, all religions, everybody. Unite, please.
Thanks for coming on, Matt.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Matt.
you.
Great stuff, that. Thank you very much, and keep it up, mate. And I'll be well tight on watching you on TikTok and stuff like that now, and I'll make sure I'm well sharing your stuff as well. But thank you, everyone. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to the 600 odd watching us. Few hundred on X. We're the Nationalising Party. This is Party Talk. Good night.
Cheers,